We do have good adventures. So far, we've stood in line. We've taken a picture of somebody's biodata.
This is the stuff for the museum because we're at the Strong Museum of Play today.
Yeah.
It's another adventure. The Adventures of Willis and Clark. And today we're at the Strong Museum in Rochester.
It's Willis and Clark! Hey guys, welcome back to another adventure. As you saw from the intro, this time we are visiting the Strong Museum of Play in Rochester, New York. Now, it wasn't just me and Clark that went on this excursion, but my lovely wife and children joined us as well. Now, I wanted to do a little bit of history before we get into this. For those who don't know, the Strong Museum of Play is located in Rochester, New York. It's a world-renowned museum that is dedicated to the history and exploration of play. The museum was started by Margaret Woodbury Strong. How the museum came to be is that when she died in July of 1969, in her will she left her extremely extensive collection of dolls and doll houses, along with other things that she'd collected and accumulated, and most of her financial resources for the creation of a museum. And in 1982, the Strong Museum of Play became a reality and opened its doors for the first time. Since then, it's not only been a landmark in the Rochester area, but it has grown and grown and grown. There is just so much to see here, and almost all of it is interactive. It's very cool, very engrossing, and I've honestly never seen anything else quite like it. They have so much here. They have the National Toy Hall of Fame. There is a section dedicated to the history of toys. They have a section dedicated to Sesame Street and climbing things. There is a fake Wegmans grocery store section for kids to play in. There is an outdoor play park dedicated to Hasbro, and so much more. Again, it's all interactive and very cool. Being gamers, there is one area in particular that we were interested in, and that is the World Video Game Hall of Fame. They have built an entirely new section onto the museum dedicated to the World Video Game Hall of Fame and video games, and man, is it awesome! There is so much on display. Everything you can think of, from the insides of video games and the cartridges, to consoles, to collectibles, to a giant interactive Pong game. I'm ashamed to say that while I was handed a commanding lead from the woman that was playing before me, I blew it and Clark was victorious in both rounds of Pong we played. After we finished seeing the Video Game Hall of Fame, it was time to step into their new exhibit, Level Up. Now, the way Level Up works is they give you a wristband and you scan it at each item in the exhibit, and it allows you to interact with the item. First, they have a creation station where you get to create your own avatar. I made a zombie rainbow unicorn because that seemed like the best choice. I mean, come on. But there are plenty of other options as well. You can really do you here. After that, it's off to the races. Each item on display is a game you can play. Some you can play with other people. Most of them are solo, though. Each game gives you points and helps you get achievements for your board, which looks a lot like a table of elements from chemistry. Even the history stations are interactive. It's very neat and a lot of fun. The highlight here was definitely when Clark did the stealth game.
You beat it.
All right.
Way to go, man.
Thank you.
You beat it.
After that, it was time for lunch, and their cafeteria doesn't disappoint. Not only do they have an extensive selection with their in-house cafeteria, but they have a mini 1950s diner as well that serves everything from chicken to burgers and fries. We ate at the diner because how could you not? And while the food was pretty good, I was a little surprised that you have to tell them to put ketchup on the burger. Now, above the diner, they have a ropes course called the Skyline Climb. It's pretty big and goes up fairly high. I did not go on it as I have a fear of heights, but my wife and kids did. So me and Clark watched our stuff while they enjoyed themselves. I do want to mention that while we didn't have to wait long to do anything in the museum, this was definitely the exception. The wait to get on the Skyline was about an hour, so if you visit and want to climb the Skyline, I highly recommend you get to the museum when they open and make this your first stop. Once the Skyline had been climbed, we made our way into the fish area. This section was sort of a neat little segue into the older part of the museum. Not only do they have multiple fish tanks, but you can color a fish and then take it to a scanner where you can add it to the virtual aquarium on the wall. Now there's a lot to see and we didn't get to it all, but again, being gamers, we made sure to check out the arcade and it did not disappoint. First, we checked out the pinball arcade, which was surprisingly loud. I don't think most people realize just how loud pinball machines are. Unfortunately, Mario and Metallica were not working, but that didn't stop Clark from finding a home at Game of Thrones. After we were done with pinball, we made our way upstairs to the video arcade, and all I can say is, wow, the nostalgia is real. Almost all of my old favorites were there. There is a wide selection of games, definitely something for everyone. Clark even got the high score on Asteroids. It's not just old stuff in here though. They have more modern arcade games as well as foosball and air hockey that you can play. I also want to mention that they did a really good job here of capturing the arcade experience from back in the day. You see, these games are not free like the other ones are in the museum. You have to get tokens from a coin machine at $4 per dollar to play them, so you can really feel the bite of the quarter muncher.
How does it feel to be bad at video games?
There is another arcade they had set up which was dedicated to racing games, but sadly we ran out of time and didn't make it to that one. This is definitely a place you can spend a couple of days at if you're looking to see everything. However, we did have time for one more attraction on our way out, and Clark decided to cap off our visit with a ride on the merry-go-round. All in all, it was a super fun day. I couldn't believe it was already time for us to go when they announced the museum was closing at the end of the day. It felt like we had only been there a couple hours. We will definitely be back and highly recommend checking it out to anyone looking for a fun day. You don't need to have kids with you. We saw plenty of adults enjoying it as well. Have you heard of the Strong Museum of Play? Is it someplace you'd like to visit? Have you been there? If you have, what's your favorite exhibit? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video and want more of our content, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. We'll see you on our next adventure.